This is game 2 of Undisputed against Golden Sun. Undisputed is going to be leading Mence, Golden Sun is going to be leading Metagross. Now, Mence will want to get out of Metagross most of the time. Metagross could stay in and fire off a choice band Meteor Mash if it has it, or alternatively, it could just switch out. Undisputed is going to go to the Scarm, respecting Mash, etc. As Golden Sun's actually just going to go to Blissey, respecting something like a Mixed Mence Fire Blast. And the fact that he's not staying on Metagross says that maybe he doesn't. He just wants to not take a Metagross, a Mence move this early on. And it's maybe a Metagross set that can't just kill Mence outright. So, for example, like defensive Metagross or mixed Metagross. Anyway, Scarm's going to get a layer up on Blissey pretty comfortably, right? And Blissey is going to T-Wave in return. That's a fair trade. Golden Sun going to go to Scarm to get his own up. Not wanting to let Scarm get too much for free without doing something himself in return, which is the up. Undisputed scouts around, finds an Aerodactyl. Golden Sun just going to go to Scarm again. He could potentially have squeezed in a little rock slide there, but because it's raw, so it's probably going to be Drill Peck, not toxic, and as such, not able to poison Aerodactyl. But Golden Sun going to Scarm is also just fine here, because Scarm also covers a lot of the typical Aerodactyl switch-ins, like Swampert, Suicune, Metagross. Scarm is happy to get back in against all of them and set up. So Undisputed is actually not going to go for a third layer here, going to go for T-Task to just try and pressure Scarm immediately. And is T-Tar gaining leftovers? No, it isn't. And it is, in fact, Lum mixed with Fire Blast. Could have also been Choice Band there. Either way, the idea was to get it in and smash Scarm. Anyway, Scarm's going to take it off from that Fire Blast and bring in Blissey. So Scarm can up again. Get that third layer. You know what they say, 3 layers good, 2 layers bad. Oh, wow. That is a Thunderbolt which crits. Now, that crit, yeah, sure, it matters. I think, depending on the Blissey spread, Thunderbolt will do somewhere between 40 and 50. So I think most of the time that doesn't kill without a crit, but sometimes it can kill without a crit. So in another world, that could have just been a high roll. Anyway, Golden Sun goes to Metagross, confident that this Blissey isn't T-Wave because it's also T-Bolt and you don't tend to see those two moves on the same set. It's getting leftovers, and its Psychic's looking to catch something like an unrevealed Swampert in the back, but instead just finds Scarm. Now Psychic is going to mean HP Fire, so he's going to do that here, as Scarm is going to either roar or get up the third layer. Now there's the third layer, so they're all up. And yeah, another hidden power into Raw. Undisputed doesn't want to mess around too much with this Metagross. Now, Undisputed could maybe try and switch something into the Swampert if he's got something good in the back. He could also just possibly sack Scarm, because it could be a little bit uncomfortable switching into some more offensive pert variations here. Blissey, of course, is Thunderbolt, so it's modest, so maybe not as comfortable switching into Earthquakes or like recovering up against them as other Blisseys would be. Mence, of course, has to watch out for Ice Beam. The unrevealed Swampert probably doesn't want to switch into Swampert if he's got that. Could be quite a few things. Maybe Gengar from Undisputed. But still wouldn't necessarily want to come into like a Hydro Pump here. So Undisputed might well sack. I mean, he's got his 3 layers down against a team which almost definitely doesn't have a spinner. I mean, it looks very much like the last is T-Tar here, because Toxic Spike Sandstorm needs a Sandstorm, right? And you don't see Arrow without T-Tar that much. So yeah, Undisputed actually just gives up Scarm, sacks it off to a Surf, and Surf means it's mono, and Mence comes in. Looks like the Mence is mixed, because that's the only Mence that would be coming into Pert so happily, so comfortably. Of course, Hidden Power can't actually kill it from this range, but it'll do about yay much where my mouse is. But that's enough because Swampert can't switch into Spike after that. And that's a fair trade for, say, getting Men's Poison, for example, because Toxic is kind of what Swampert that doesn't have Ice Beam can do to Mence. So Golden Sun can get a Protector Scout here. Oh no, he doesn't actually. He just goes to Aerodactyl as Undisputed Dragon Claws, which is a nice prediction. Covers the Aerodactyl. Dragon Claw doing 60, bring Aero down so that it can't switch into another one of them. Anyway, Aero's kind of breathing down Undisputed's throat. I think he's kind of very inclined to switch here, especially because Mence looks so good, especially if you assume the last is T-Tar. It's great here, in fact. Still threatening a Swampert of HP Grass massively, especially because it's Monopert. Can kill Metagross after it stepped on 3 layers of Fire Blast. Blissey is going to have problems against Brick Break. It's even got Intimidate for late game Aerodactyl scenarios. And of course, it's going to mess up the most likely unrevealed T-Tar with Brick Break. So he'll switch. We'll see if Golden Sun can predict that and exploit that with some kind of like Earthquake or Double Edge, maybe into Swampert. Okay, it's Metagross. That's the Rock Resist, and it gets crushed by an Earthquake. Now, I think Golden Sun is actually going to want to switch here, because even though Metagross is about to die, you don't want to leave Aerodactyl locked into Earthquake, because then Mence can claim something. And of course, Mence is looking really, really dangerous. And the only thing stopping it is Aero being faster and having the ability to Rock Slide. And of course, the Aero here would be already in and locked into Earthquake, which can't touch Mence. So I think Golden Sun's actually going to want to switch. Yeah, he gets out to Metagross as Undisputed booms, knowing that Golden Sun sort of feels that he's inclined to switch. Undisputed follows up with T-Tar. He's comfortable that his T-Tar's faster than Mixed Metagross. You know, Mixed Lum T-Tar always going to be faster than Mixed Metagross. And can kill it with a Fire Blast. So Golden Sun can go to Aero here to follow up. Okay, no, he goes to T-Tar, which is a little bit interesting. So I guess he's confident that his T-Tar's fast as well. Could be Choice Bantar, which would make sense. Could also be another one of these Lum Mix Tars, of course. Could be Lum DD Tar, which would be nice for luring. I mean, it could just be, yeah. Could be nice for luring Swampert for Aero. Whatever kind of T-Tar is, I think it's going to be A, fast because he's confident coming into this T-Tar that's also fast, and B, has some way to weaken water types for Aerodactyl. So we'll see how this turn goes. Undisputed could stay in, and if he feels confident in his speed, which he might well do, especially if he's 243 speed, and just chance the speed tie. I guess there's also the Mence possibility from Undisputed, but that could get a little bit awkward with Dragon Dance ideas from Golden Sun. So Undisputed might just want to stay and not mess around with the possibility of DD Tar. So yeah, this is going to be a very, very important turn. Golden Sun's made the decision to go to Tar. Is it going to work out? Boom. Brick Break from Undisputed. That is devastating. So going Tar there did not work out well at all. And I'll come back to this turn at the end of the game. It's quite interesting to analyze. For now, Golden Sun goes to Blissey, which I guess is counter. Gonna counter on this Brick Break. It should make some sense. There is Brick Break for quite a lot actually. There's Blissey T-Waves. That's kind of a sucky move, honestly, because T-Tar's always Lum there. I don't love that play. I think. Okay, so he keeps Blissey around. I mean, sure. T-Tar's always HP grass though. Could Aero pivot in? You got 3 mons alive to spike sack. A couple of times, let Aero switch up moves in the late game. Yeah, so T-Tar brick breaks into Pert, but it's always just going to have HP grass here on this set, I'm afraid. Yeah, there's hidden power, gets Swampert. I guess you could have maybe just about snuck Aero in there. I don't know if it tanks an HP grass. I think it does. I think hidden power grass would do about that much. Anyway, here's Aero finally. And Aero's kind of... it could look into Rockslide to flinch. You're really desperate, but I think Undisputed always just sacks T-Tar here, and because it's not going to be able to switch in again after spikes, so Golden Sun probably just Earthquakes, then Spike sacks Bliss on the incoming Ment, and then locks in Rockslide after that, and then it depends on Undisputed's last, could well be Swamp. Oh no, it's Aerodactyl. Yeah, there you go, Aero last. And Blissey goes down. And now Golden Sun just has to do a huge amount to win. Has to win this speed tie here at the Aerodactyls and then flinch through a couple of things. Off the top of my head, I think that -1 Rockslide can't kill 100% Ments. And you got to get 2 flinches as well as, of course, hitting all the Rockslides as well. So can Golden Sun do it? It's a very, very uphill battle for him. Can you find it, big guy? No, Undisputed finishes him with a double edge. So, really, really interesting game, actually. Going back to turn 16. Could Golden Sun have gone to Aerodactyl here? My guess is that Golden Sun was thinking to himself that the last was maybe possibly possibly Swampert or something like that, because it didn't seem like he wanted to have the choice locked mon in. Of course, it's such a difficult call to make, bringing your choice mon in. But if Aero comes in there and then Earthquakes in the game scenario with Undisputed's actual last as Aerodactyl, let's say that Undisputed manages to pivot, either that manages to pivot to Ments on the Earthquake, which I don't think he'd even do, or just sacks T-Tar to the EQ, then it sort of comes down to probably a tie with the Aerodactyls at that point, and Golden Sun might even be favoured, because of course he's still got this quite healthy Swampert at this point, which never comes into T-Tar in that scenario, and of course can deal with Undisputed's Aerodactyl in the back. And of course Undisputed's Ments is still claiming a lot of kills, but I think at that point it would come down a lot more likely to an Aero speed tie. Maybe Golden Sun's T-Tar can still do something. But, of course, he didn't go Aero there because he just wasn't... I mean, I think if he knew... if you told him, okay, Undisputed has Aerodactyl last here, then it would have been a different story. You would have gone to Aero last all day, and the game would have been much, very, very different, very, very close, and probably would have come down to an endgame Aero speed tie. But yeah, of course, that call is just so hard to make. I certainly couldn't have predicted Undisputed's loss there at all. His team's a bit atypical, kind of like a BKC style, like a Skarn Bliss offense. Yeah, anyway, this is a great series. I had a lot of fun narrating it.